Hey, what is up, you guys? This is Rob coming at you from inside of the Supra. Wanted to give you guys a Supra update as well as talk a little bit more about the oil consumption issues that are plaguing the 2021 Supras with the B58 motor. So first off, let's go into the Supra updates. Alright, you guys, so first off, let's talk about my Supra. So remember, mine is the 2021 A91 Edition. One thing that it did not come with that the A91 Edition should have came with was the A91 spoiler. Why don't I have the spoiler? Well, there was a shortage from the factory. To help remedy this, Toyota took off the value of the spoiler, which was $1199.99, off of the MSRP for the car. And the whole idea is supposed to be that when the spoiler's finally in, I can go ahead and buy it. So that was back in December when I bought the car. Toyota still does not have it in. It doesn't seem like it's going to be coming anytime soon. So I will actually be installing the A91 replica spoiler onto the car. So why the replica? Well, found this great company. They are making, it's a one-to-one replica, so it's supposed to be exactly the same, matte black and everything. But here's what I like about it. It is ABS plastic. Why do I like that? That means that it is light enough that it can be installed using only 3M tape. I will not need to drill holes like if I put the OEM spoiler. The OEM spoiler has wood in it. That makes it heavy. OEM spoiler needs you to put holes in your car to properly fasten it down, which is understandable due to the weight. However, here's my rationale, all right? I have called a few, body shops. It's going to cost about $400 to $500, it's about 4 to 5 hours worth of work to install the spoiler onto the car, the OEM spoiler. I will be very, very, very unhappy if they install it and our holes are crooked, or something isn't right and maybe it's a little bit off center. So I'm like, you know what, I don't want to deal with this headache of having to find a body shop hoping to do a good job, hoping everything comes out all right. So that's why I'm just gonna get this replica and put it on. With that being said, I will still be buying an OEM spoiler to keep in storage so that I can keep everything together, so that in a few years when this car is sold, I could get the spoiler with the car and tell whoever the new owner is, here it is. If you want it, you can install it yourself. You can take it to your body shop. That can be on you. That way it's not on me. Or it could be like, if you think about some rare OEM options, such as the S2000 hardtop, it could be one of those things where the accessory actually goes up in value, and it might be a rare accessory to have. Remember, guys, there are only 1,000 A91 editions. 500 in nocturnal black, 500 in refraction blue, such as my own. So there shouldn't be a lot of the spoilers being made also. So I do feel like it's, it'd still be good to have the OEM one on hand, even if I don't have it on the car. And I actually can't wait, because when I have them both, I'm going to be able to put them side by side, and I'll have a nice comparison video of that as well. So it will be a few weeks until the replica spoiler is in. I think I'm in the second or third round of them, in terms of production, and first round are just now, going out. So we'll just have to wait and see when that happens. I am looking forward to it though, because then this car will finally be looking complete. Alright, you guys, so let's talk about the 2021 oil consumption issues. So remember, guys, there has been a bit of an issue. 2021s have a slightly different motor than the 2020s. A big part of this was that the pistons were changed out, as well as some differences in the head. This is to give the 2021s a bit more horsepower. A lot of people notice a bit more of a kick in the top end. But this is coming with the caveat of a lot of motors are just consuming way too much oil, to the point where Toyota is actually replacing motors, due to this. I am at 1,300 miles. I'm very lucky. My car is still full on oil. I was so relieved to see that. So crossing my fingers that it holds up. I will be getting an oil change soon, now that the braking period is done. So hopefully it will be smooth sailing for me. However, a couple people have not been so lucky. They have had to get new motors. I actually know 2 people who Toyota ended up buying back their car. One of which actually doesn't live too far away from me. She's a few hours out. When I talked to her about it, basically Toyota deemed the issue was due to the pistons as expected. And I guess they figured we won't be able to get the motor installed and everything by the time that, 𝗏𝗏 wouldn't be able to kick in. So they said forget it, and they just reimbursed her for the car. They bought it back from her. So that was excellent. But actually, I did talk to someone else. He had a bit more trouble with this, a bit more issues. And I actually asked what were his experiences with this. So he actually shared with me the experience he had with it. We'll just talk about the end result real quick. Toyota is buying back his car. Everything, the fees, the taxes. They only took off the mileage that he put on the car before it started having issues. I think he said it was less than 2,000 miles. So he actually ended up only losing like $800 out of the whole thing, which really isn't the worst. So he did, he did tell me how his experience went. So if you are having this issue, your experience might replicate his. If you're starting to have this issue, your experience might start to replicate his. Let's talk about it. So for his first visit, engine was low, oil was low. So he said that, they just logged the oil consumption and they topped off the oil. They said to bring it back if anything's happening. But then, of course, it started happening again. So on the second visit, that was when they did the consumption testing, the compression test, leak down, consumption test. They started looking for cylinder scoring, all that stuff. So remember, it was on that second visit when this all happened. And then that was when they deemed it, a bad motor. That's probably going to be pretty much the same for a lot of you guys. That's when they decide we have to just replace the motor entirely. So this is where he recommends looking into your lemon laws. For example, where he was at, it was 30 days in the shop or 4 times for the same issue within a certain period of time. And his car was in the shop for more than 40 days due to all this. California, I believe it's 30 days. And there might also be a certain amount of visits. I do recommend looking into whatever your state lemon law is before getting into all of this, just so that you can be ready. But the issue was that after he got his motor replaced, they couldn't get the car to not go into limp mode whenever he went into open throttle. That's a problem. He steps on it, limp mode, engine starts cutting power. So I guess it got so crazy that they even flew engineers into his dealership. They couldn't fix it either. And all this stuff, he had logs, he had records, and that was how he was able to basically fight, for the lemon law. And after this, he did consult with some lemon law lawyers, but he didn't have to go that far. Toyota went ahead and they recognized it. And now the process he's in is basically meeting with different parties. He still hasn't quite been reimbursed. He already signed the paperwork and everything, but pretty soon he'll be meeting with someone who will finally take the car, take the keys essentially, and give him the check. But I did ask him, what are some tips as someone who has dealt with this issue? So these are tips that he actually gave me. So number 1, he said, stay with the same dealer. Because remember, guys, if you go to dealership A for example, the first visit, and dealership B for the second visit, they might say, well, dealership A didn't do something right. So it's actually on them. It's not on us. It's not on the car. So guys, stick with the same dealership, so that they are the only ones involved in this whole thing and they can't try to essentially pass off the blame to someone else. He actually got pretty lucky. It was that dealership that had, a nice long powertrain warranty, which also helped him out. And of course, everything was done under warranty. He also highly recommends, if you need oil, don't just top it off yourself and go on with your day. Always record everything. Take it to the dealership. Have them top it off and put it in their records. He also recommends, so if you're familiar with the dealerships, after you get the car back, you sign something, right? Saying that I acknowledge work that was done. When you sign that, you're essentially closing the work order. That's the last thing on top of it. So he said that he regrets not checking out the car before they were to close the work order. So for example, after he got the car back with the new motor, because as soon as it became an issue and he realized that this thing is going to limp mode, they were like, well, now we have to open up a new work order. Try to keep it all under one work order. Tell him, let me drive it before I sign anything. Make sure everything is good. And that, I do agree completely with that. That's a very good idea. So remember, drive the car each time, drive it each time before signing for anything. Don't let the service provider boss you around, guys. This is the most important thing, guys. You paid a lot of money for your car. We paid a lot. It doesn't even matter if we only paid $5,000 for the car. We are a paying customer. Toyota loves to pride themselves on quality craftsmanship and quality customer service. So just because this car is essentially a BMW motor and internals, let's not let this mean that this does not follow under Toyota's guidelines. Let them take care of you. Make them take care of you, because this is on Toyota. I didn't say for them to put in these pistons that are potentially doing issues. They did this because they judged it would be a good call. It's turning out to not be the best call, which is very unfortunate. All right. Remember, call Toyota corporate after every issue you have, because that way they will also have it written down on their own logs up a corporate. This way, if you do need to do lemon law, there are even more logs. Remember, guys, they will have recorded phone calls too. When you call corporate lines, they are always recording. You want to have every bit of evidence you need. So if you need to fight this, you have as much ammunition as possible, guys. Remember, guys, don't let them tell you it's fine, it's normal. Fight for your car, fight for your money, fight for your right as a paying customer, all right? So with those tips and, that experience, I just want to close off this video. I really hope any of you guys having this issue and not having the worst time with the dealerships. If you are, please let me know. Let me know what your experiences have been so far with your car. I'm always interested to learn. Like I said, I've been fine so far, but I would just love to know how everyone else is doing. All right? So with that, you guys, I just want to say this is Rob, and have a good one.